Something amazing happened recently. 2 of the best-selling books in America were books about you. Michael F. Roizen, M.D., co-authored the best-selling books You on a Diet and You, the Owner's Manual, along with his good friend Dr. Mehmet Oz, a professor and vice chairman of surgery at Columbia Presbyterian Medical Center in New York City. They also co-authored You, the Smart Patient, with millions of books sold worldwide, with all 3 books appearing on the New York Times bestsellers list in the same weeks. These 2 physicians have been referred to by Oprah as America's doctors. Dr. Mike, as his patients call him, is a professor of medicine and anesthesiology at the Cleveland Clinic Lerner College of Medicine and chair of the Division of Anesthesiology, Critical Care Medicine, and Comprehensive Pain Management at the Cleveland Clinic. Dr. Roizen is responsible for over 190 operating rooms, 124 critical care beds, and 28 pain therapy suites at the Cleveland Clinic. A highly respected physician, Dr. Roizen is an expert in age-related disease and the powerful ways you can control the aging process and stay healthy. He created the Real Age concept, which is featured on realage.com, the number 6 health and fitness website in America. Dr. Mike is also the author of the number 1 New York Times bestseller, Real Age. His captivating Real Age concept calculates one's biological age as opposed to chronological age, based on lifestyle, habits, and choices. Dr. Roizen has appeared multiple times on such prominent television shows as PBS, Oprah, Good Morning America, The Larry King Show, The Today Show, CBN 700, Canada AM, Dateline, and 2020. Dr. Roizen recently has also been asked to take new responsibilities and authorities at the Cleveland Clinic. The Cleveland Clinic has been number 1 ranked for heart disease treatment for 12 years in a row and one of the top 3 hospitals in America by U.S. News and World Report. But that is in disease treatment. The Cleveland Clinic has now decided we cannot as a nation or as a developed world go on this way. We need to prevent the economic and the spiritual and the physical costs of diseases that are so readily preventable. So the clinic has decided to put as much emphasis on wellness, helping each patient not only recover, but reverse these diseases and ever more dramatically increase wellness to the top of the curve in quality of life. You've heard corporations have chief operating officers and chief financial officers. Well, the Cleveland Clinic has decided to elevate wellness by the appointment of a chief wellness officer to promote wellness of all its 38,000 employees and the 1.5 million patients it cares for. And they have asked Dr. Michael Roizen to be the first chief wellness officer. This is a dramatic movement. We do not know of any other major academic or non-academic medical center with a chief wellness officer but the Cleveland Clinic. Now, here's Dr. Mike.
It's a great time to be alive in this country, and the next few minutes will help you understand and apply the wellness discoveries that can dramatically change how you look and how you feel. You need to know that you get a do-over in life. Yes, you get a do-over. It's not that hard. It doesn't take that long. You get a do-over every 3 years for your body. You get to radically recreate your body to a healthier body if you want to. You get to pull plaque out of your arteries to decrease inflammation in your immune system to gain energy. Now listen to this. If you change your habits today, within 3 years, it is just as though you've done that healthy habit for your body all your life. Yes, you get a do-over if you want it. As far as your health and energy are concerned, you get a do-over. It's as simple as making a choice, like the choice of walnuts over chips, and many other simple choices that we'll share on this CD, and we'll make that choice easy for you. You might think a hot dog or croissant or chips are a little bad because they increase your blood fats, your bad cholesterol and your bad triglyceride. But you might say, my fats as measured by the cholesterol are okay, so just take that little risk. But while that hot dog or that croissant or those chips do a little to your blood fats, their big badness is they turn on a gene that makes inflammatory proteins that makes your arteries older and your immune system older. And those are the big effects that make heart disease, stroke, memory loss, impotence. Guys, do I have your attention? Decay in orgasm quality, cancer, even wrinkling of your skin more likely and more likely to impede your energy and quality life. But substituting nuts for chips or flossing your teeth or even drinking a little red wine are easy ways for you to have more energy. And along with some simple, proven lifestyle tips like nuts for chips, I'll be revealing some insider research on the latest discovery with nutrients and the dramatic effect that nutrients can have on your health and energy levels. Stuff like this, Mehmet and I call it stuff because we don't have any better word for it, but we call this insight eureka moments. We want you to be emotionally involved in your life. We want you to take control of your health. It's that important and that easy. But these eureka moments, hopefully there'll be ideas and insights that will turn the light bulb on in your head, that aha moment, so you'll take action to make yourself younger and more energetic. This is definitely information I hope you feel you want to know and you need to know. It's about how long and how well you and your family will live. As I see patients, some of the most common concerns I hear is that people like you want to feel healthier and younger. They don't want their last 10 or 20 years to be so that they can eat the 3:30 dinner and make it to Wheel of Fortune. They want to be healthy and vigorous and enjoy life and enjoy every period of time as vigorous as they can be. They want to make their real age younger. I'll share with you in a few minutes how you can look and feel 5, 10, maybe up to 29 years younger right now. How you can control weight and avoid as much as possible diseases like diabetes, cancer, heart disease, so you can live at the top of your curve till very near the end. What most people don't know, and what I want to share with you, is that almost all of the answers we're searching for, you're searching for, yes, are only a few choices and actions away. Most of these choices are simple ones, like eating a little better. It's not depriving yourself. If you have to deprive yourself, you're not going to do it. We want to show you how you can eat well, enjoy it, and at the same time nourish your body and your cells so that you'll ensure you get all the nutrients you need from your diet and insurance supplements. Now, most of the choices are simple ones, like eating a little better, but eating so you enjoy it. You're not going to deprive yourself. We don't want you to. We want you to understand that with the right diet that'll taste great and with some insurance supplements, you'll get the nutrients you need to live and be well and to be energetic. But before we get into these, let's talk a little about how magnificent your body is and how it works. On average, the human heart beats 72 times per minute, or 4,320 beats per minute. That's 103,680 beats per day, 3,110,400 beats per month. I can't even read these, let alone calculate them. And get this, 37,324,800 beats per year. Can you think of anything that works 37 million times without breaking? I can't, other than many parts of the human body, like your heart. During each cardiac cycle, the entire heart actually rests for only about 0.4 of a second. The average man, if we say the 160-pounder, contains approximately 5.6 liters of blood. In one day, your blood travels nearly 12,000 miles. I think that's about around the world. Half of those miles are against gravity. Your heart pumps 1 million barrels of blood during the average lifetime, enough to fill 3 supertankers. Now that's what I call magnificent when it doesn't break down. And you can make it so it doesn't break down. We in science are now understanding that you get to control your genes to a large degree. Now, I don't mean genes like the kind you buy in the store, Geans. Now, I'm a bad speller, so I hope I'm spelling that right. We mean Genes, you know, what you were born with, the DNA. I'm talking about the genes inside every one of your cells except the red cells that you inherit. By the way, you probably can win a bet on that one. Your red cells circulating in your bloodstream are the only cells that usually you have without a nucleus. When you're young, under age 6, it's all your genes. They take you where they want you to go to give you the quality of life they want you to have or not. But the older you are, the more you get to influence how your genes function. Yes, all your genes do is either make proteins or watch other genes. And which genes are turned on or off is under your control to a large degree. Yes, most genes are just one protein factories that you can turn on or off. Let me explain. You have control of your health to a large degree. If you drink that glass of red wine which is filled with resveratrol, you turn off a gene that makes an inflammatory protein that causes inflammation. So by having that glass of wine regularly, you can help to keep your arteries younger. Conversely, if you eat that butter, or worse, those trans fat-containing fried onion rings, you turn on a gene that makes a protein that makes your arteries stiffer. And stiff arteries don't dilate. So when you ask your arteries to dilate so you feel more energetic, when you run, that's what happens. When you ask your arteries to dilate as you're running, they do so and they give you the energy to run. But if you have stiff arteries, then you don't get that dilation. You don't get the energy. And stiff arteries thus make you feel older. Similarly, if you walk just 10 minutes, you turn on a gene, the one that's responsible for making IGF-BP3, for those crossword aficionados, that stops the growth of cancer. Next time, don't look for the parking spot closest to the front of the store. Walk a little further. Of course, you got to remember where you parked, but walk a little further. That's an easy choice to make, an action to take. Your car will get less scratched if your parking lot is like mine, and you will help prevent cancer. So I feel one of the most important things you can do for yourself, and I'll tell you this at least twice, maybe 3 times in this session, is to walk 30 minutes a day. No excuses. A hurricane occurs, walk 30 minutes. A tornado, walk 30 minutes. A snowstorm, walk 30 minutes. You get the point. By the way, I'm often asked if walking a dog or gardening counts. See for yourself. When we tested this with people who walked with dogs, they averaged actually 8 minutes of walking per 30 minutes of walking the dog. So you've got to pace around the dog when he or she stops. By the way, how do you test yourself? Get a pedometer. Get one and see how many steps you do. 30 minutes gives you 3,000 steps. The average American takes around 6,000 steps per day. I want you to get 10,000, of which 3,000 comes in that 30 minutes a day. No excuses. Besides wine and physical activity like walking, there's ongoing research on a group of nutrients that have powerful effects on your genes of your body. Imagine little robots deep inside your body fighting all the time to keep you healthy, young, and vibrant by turning the right genes on and ones that make you older off. Yes, you've got nutrients that help you turn the right genes on and turn the wrong genes off. One nutrient critical to great health is vitamin D3. It turns several healthy processes and genes on. Most of us know that vitamin D3 is important for incorporation of calcium into bone. That's really why milk was fortified in World War II with vitamin D. It was to make your bones stronger. We've kept that fortification. We want you to have strong bones. But it may have an even more important role in preventing cancer. It's important to understand that when you're looking at vitamin D, there are many different kinds. Most of us think we get enough from the sun's rays, but up to 87%, that's right. In studies, it's never been less than 60%, so between 60 and 87% of Americans don't get enough vitamin D for their proofreader gene to function. You're saying, what the heck is a proofreader gene? Right. Inside every cell, except those red cells, you have a proofreader gene that reads all of your other genes. It's like a spell checker on a computer. This gene reads your other genes, and if there's a typographical error, it spots it and kills the cell or fixes, that is, repairs the cell. And that's important. You get to turn your spell checker on or not. If you have enough vitamin D to turn it on and prevent a lot of cancers, then you will prevent them. Remember, I said you get a do-over. A large reason for that do-over is that you replace most of your body's cells regularly. You have over 300 million cell duplications every day. I guess that's 2 billion every week. Some parts of your body duplicate them in 3 days, like the inner lining of your stomach, some in 7 to 10 years, like your bones. But on average, you get a do-over every 3 years, and that means you have a huge number of cell duplications, 2 billion a week. With that tremendous amount of cell duplications, it means that some of those will have errors. I'll bet if you wrote your name 2 billion times, you'd misspell it several times. That's all we're talking about. It's normal for you to need a spell checker, and you have a spell checker gene. But it takes a certain amount of vitamin D nutrients to keep that spell check gene working well. And so, as I said, the critical one is vitamin D3. The daily value the USDA and FDA say we need is 400 international units, or IU. That's what's needed to prevent the diseases that are deficiency diseases like scurvy, or in the case of vitamin D, rickets. But you need 800 to 1,000 international units to keep your spell checking gene on, the science would say. Where do you get that vitamin D3? Mainly from the sun. It converts inactive vitamin D in your skin to active vitamin D3 in your skin. But for those of us who are dark-skinned, or if you live north of a line between Atlanta and Los Angeles, you can't get enough sun between October 1st and April 15th. And by the way, those who are dark-skinned can't get enough sun anytime. They look like wearing SPF 300 all the time. It's not that the sun is not out. It's because it doesn't have enough energy to convert the inactive to the active vitamin D. So you need vitamin D, and new studies say 1,000 international units a day. The therapeutic dose, by the way, if you're deficient, is even higher. There's a tremendous number of studies conducted on vitamin D, and 10 of the studies I've reviewed found that people who didn't get enough vitamin D had a much higher, not just a little higher, a much higher risk of colon cancer. These analyses suggest that getting 1,000 international units of vitamin D3 and the right amount of folate, which we'll talk about in a few seconds, every day would cut colon cancer risk, and maybe all cancer, by 50%. Yeah, you heard me right. 50%. That's a darn big number. Folate isn't just for pregnant moms. Yes, folate does do a lot for pregnant moms and for their children. It has cut childhood cancer, that's cancer for those under 6, by 60%. This is our first eureka moment. Turn the light bulb on. Remember, under age 6, it's all in the genes. But in this case, the mother influences your children's genes. Yes, despite that data, as many as 87% of us are short of the 400 international units of vitamin D3 when it has been tested. And obviously, that number of how many of us are short is greater when we set the bar at 1,000 international units. Now, at RealAge.com, we've had over 22 million people take the full test and the full nutrition test. It's free at RealAge.com. Less than 100,000 get all the calcium, folate, and vitamin D3 they need from their diet. So it's possible to get the staying young nutrients from the diet, but it's not likely. Only 100,000 out of more than 22 million did it. So we have to make a commitment to take a supplement for insurance against a less than perfect diet. Yeah, even I have a less than perfect diet, so I take a supplement. Because if we're going to get a do-over, we need to make sure our spell checker and a lot of other things are working to protect ourselves. You need a supplement, I believe, to protect you. So if all genes do is either make proteins or monitor other genes, and which genes are turned on or off is largely under your control, that means that Ponce de Leon's fountain of youth may literally be in your hands or ears right now. We can't stop aging, but we know how to slow your rate of aging. You don't need to act like the typical 80-year-old when you're 80. You can act like you're in your 50s or maybe your 40s. Let me explain. For thousands of years, mankind in medicine has been on a never-ending quest for new ways to extend life. And we docs focused on identifying what diseases you had, like diabetes, and treating its consequences with insulin or blood glucose-lowering medicine, and sometimes, in the cases that went too far, with coronary artery bypass or stents and dialysis machines. That is and was the right focus for caring for the sick. And Lord knows I'm proud to be at the Cleveland Clinic. We have been finding new treatments and surgical procedures that are more complex every decade. And the Cleveland Clinic has been doing that better than anyone. It has been ranked #1 in cardiac care by U.S. News and World Report for 13 years in a row. 13 years in a row. Do you know what it is? NBA teams only compete with whatever it is, 24 or 48 teams, not very many, right? And it's tough for them to repeat as #1. Imagine the Cleveland Clinic is competing with well over 5,000 hospitals and health systems, and it's been #1 13 years in a row. We have reached a point in mankind's science and progress where even organized medicine has come to realize that the most successful way to treat disease, like diabetes, cancer, and heart disease, isn't just to be great at treating them. Oh, the Cleveland Clinic has to be great at that, and we will be. But we have to be great at preventing them and the aging they cause in the first place. Even better is not just to prevent these diseases, but to live with greater wellness. You can change your curve. You can live at a higher quality of life every day with more energy. It is possible. Another group of nutrients I hope you'll commit to get enough from your diet or in an insurance supplement is a group of B vitamins that also help prevent cancer. If you remember back to your high school biology, and that's even hard for me, I'm 61, and although my real age is around 42, but if you do, you have 4 letters in your DNA, A, C, G, and T. I remember it. It's tough to remember, but I remember it as a caring good teacher, A, C, G, T. Why? Because that's what I think the best doctors are. That is, they should be caring, good, and each of us should be teaching you. That's what doctor means. It means teacher. So A, caring, good teacher, A, C, G, T. But if you don't have enough folate in your diet or in your insurance supplement, you can't make the T, because the T is thymidine, and it comes from folate. So what happens if you don't have enough folate? Your body substitutes U or uracil for the thymidine. ACGU can cause errors in what proteins your genes make and can lead to spina bifida, the condition of kids that folate that mothers take in prenatal vitamins prevents, and it also can lead to cancers. Wow, you might ask. If the T is necessary for my DNA replication, and especially for kids, why isn't it necessary for my entire life? The answer is it is necessary for your entire life, and mine too. Not having enough folate can lead to cancer. And in fact, in the studies of folate supplementation, since mothers have taken prenatal vitamins, childhood cancer, that is cancers under the age of 6, have decreased on a per-child rate by over 60%. That's really remarkable. 60% decrease just by taking the right amount of folate. Now, when the children are over 6, that reflects what they've done since birth. And unfortunately, the kids get sometimes rotten diets today, and they don't largely take nutrients or an insurance supplement. So there is a increased rate of cancer for the kids over 6. Now, it's important to know that when we were in decades past, we ate berries, nuts, fruits, and vegetables, and were fed mother's milk. So childhood cancer after the age of 6 was reduced in that period. But now it isn't, as we generally talk to kids about things or feed kids things other than berries, nuts, fruits, and vegetables. The prediction is that if everybody in America, everybody in the world, got the right amount of folate and vitamin D3, we would decrease cancer rates by over 50%. It's a pretty big number, 50. Now, you didn't hear me wrong. I'll repeat it again, 50%. Here's another eureka moment. That would mean that cancer rates would go in the U.S. from 1 in 3 to 1 in 6. Think about that for a moment. Millions would not have to suffer this terrible disease by just committing to get enough folate and vitamin D3. The chill that goes through your body when you or one of your loved ones hears those words, "You have cancer." Think of the tremendous amount of family pain, stress, suffering that you could so easily help yourself and your friends avoid. Yeah, it doesn't eliminate it, but reducing it by 50% is a big number. You get to make yourself healthier, and then when you are feeling healthier, we want you to teach others how to do so. You get a do-over, take it, and when you're doing it and feeling healthy, then start teaching others. There is evidence that B vitamins, especially folate, but also, and by the way, folate isn't just folic acid, it's folate, it's food folate, it's vitamin B9, it's folacin in the old language. But those B vitamins, especially B6, B12, in addition to the folate, are essential for proper DNA and gene duplication, and for making enough of that letter T, thymidine, available for your cells to duplicate. That's why physicians say women who are even thinking about, even in their remotest dreams, are thinking about getting pregnant should be on prenatal vitamins, because getting the right amount of folate and the other Bs decreases spina bifida rates, that's a serious disease of the spinal cord formation, by 80 to 90%. But I don't think we should just let moms and kids get this benefit. We should all decrease DNA misduplications or spelling errors every day. So I would tell you, if you were one of my patients, need to get the right amount of folate and the other Bs in your diet or your insurance supplements. You should get at least 800 micrograms, that's mcg, of folate a day. The American average for diet is just 325 micrograms for men and 368 for women, about 50% short. But a few bad DNA duplications can result in unnecessarily misduplicated DNA in a really bad period of life. So I believe if you want to live at the top of your curve, we should all take some wellness insurance with extra folate and Bs from a supplement. Mehmet and I both do, every day. By the way, the clinical effects of a depletion of vitamin B6 are dermatitis, that means inflammation in your skin, scratchy skin, eczema, itchy skin. Anemia, that's low red blood cell count. Convulsions, depression, confusion. You should know that folic acid is the type of folate or folic acid used in nutritional supplements and is more stable and more completely absorbed than is the folate from food. Now, I want to make this message interactive, and I've given you a hint to this answer before. But why can a 9-year-old run around all day, and you, or me, if we're typical, get tired just watching her? It's her arteries. Those arteries to the muscles in her legs expand as she runs, giving her oxygen and other nutrients, and they provide energy to her muscles so she can run. And they take away waste products. And those arteries to her belly, where she doesn't need extra energy, get smaller. So she directs all her energy and nutrients to the muscles that need it, and takes away waste products to a greater degree from those. But if you're typical, your arteries do not expand or contract as well as that 9-year-old's. But that isn't what needs to happen. If you avoid that croissant and its saturated fat, you can be more energetic. That saturated fat causes your DNA to make a protein which stiffens your arteries, and that makes you less able to dilate your arteries and have energy. So avoiding that croissant or that Danish, and drinking that 1 glass of red wine, or eating an ounce of nuts, or a little dark chocolate, that makes the protein which makes your arteries younger. So you get to pull plaque out of your arteries and make them like new and restore function to your arteries over time. And it doesn't take that long, and it isn't that hard. That's right. You not only get to slow aging, slow your rate of aging, you get to reverse some of the aging that you've done. Another point I want to make with you is there's another group of important nutrients whose name and qualities I want to share with you. They're called phytonutrients. Now that's not phyto, F-I-D-O, the dog, but phyto, P-H-Y-T-O, meaning from plants. This group of nutrients is increasingly becoming the topic of clinical studies as science begins to better understand the healing power of plants. Remember, plants have been around a long time. How naturally plants prevent themselves from being sick is that these phytonutrients have been developed over time to help them. Remember, plants have been around a lot longer than we've been, so they've learned how to survive. You may have heard of the research behind the resveratrol. That's that red substance found in red wine and its anti-aging properties. That resveratrol is a phytonutrient, and these are the phytonutrients I want to talk to you about. One you may not have heard about is xanthones. Xanthones are close cousins to the polyphenol family and have strong antioxidant effects. They're thought to be the active ingredients in several plants, including St. John's wort, gentian root, and hops. One of the richest single sources of these powerful xanthones comes from a fruit in Southeast Asia called mangosteen. Now, your body has natural antioxidants that definitely protect you from free radical damage. Your natural antioxidants include catalase, glutathione, and superoxide dismutase. It's abbreviated SOD. Now, why do you produce free radicals? It has to do with your mitochondria using energy and making energy for your cells. Yes, literally in every cell you have hundreds of mitochondria that serve as your body's basic infrastructure. They take the glucose and other nutrients that you feed your body and convert them into energy so your body can use it to perform all of the functions it needs to. These nutrients are the fundamental driver of metabolism when they're combined in your mitochondria. The mitochondria make sure that what you eat is converted into useful energy. Plus, their function and dysfunction also serves as the backbone for one of the major theories of aging. When mitochondria take your food and turn it into energy, they produce oxygen-free radicals, molecules that cause dangerous inflammation in the mitochondria itself, as well as in the rest of your cell. The damage this inflammation causes to your cells and to the mitochondria within your cells is thought responsible for many age-relating problems and conditions. So you can protect your mitochondria and the rest of your cells and your DNA by producing more of your own antioxidants. How about if you take antioxidants in from food? We think that works with specific antioxidants as well. Now, these xanthones have a common rich healing heritage, that is polyphenols, which are postulated to be antiviral and anti-inflammatory. Your own natural antioxidants protect your body from free radical damage. Let's help you visualize oxidation. If you've ever cut open an apple or even cut it in half and left it on the counter, when you come back in a couple hours, it's all brown and unappealing. Well, that's kind of like what happens inside your body from free radicals. And if you put that antioxidant vitamin C from lemon juice on the cut apple, it protects the apple. Do it yourself. Cut an apple in half, and on one side spread some lemon juice, but don't do anything to the other side. Just leave it open to air. When you come back, one side will look brown and unappealing, and the side with the lemon juice and the antioxidant vitamin C from that looks fresh because it has that vitamin C to protect it. Well, the same thing we think happens with your mitochondria. The unstable free radicals damage a key part of healthy cells, and one part is the damage to the DNA in the energy-producing part of your cells, your mitochondria. Maybe you didn't know that. You have DNA not only in your nucleus, but in your mitochondria. Antioxidants are like the bodyguards that handcuff the oxidants with a handcuff-like grip and escort them through the kidney and out your bodies in your urine. Trust me, like troublemakers in a bar, you want no free radicals. That's why we think antioxidants protect key areas of your cells from these bullies. To discover just how powerful your antioxidants are, some physicians do an ORAC test. Now, I'm not talking about the guy on TV promising your carpets will be cleaner if you use his vacuum cleaner. I'm talking about oxygen radical absorption capacity. Oxygen O, radical R, absorption A, capacity C, or ORAC test. And some real blood, you know, that red stuff of yours being drawn into a test tube for this test. Some supplement manufacturers conduct independent ORAC testing on their products. ORAC, the higher the number, the better, they say, by the way. And the way it is supposed to work, the higher the ORAC value in your blood, the more free radicals in your blood will be neutralized. Can you add ORAC via diet and supplements? Experts think so. The experts in this area, and I'm not one of those, tells us to look for an ORAC value of 90,000 to 100,000 plus, or about 3,000 to 3,500 daily, when looking for an effective antioxidant supplement. Two other well-known antioxidant vitamins are C and E. A new study suggests that when these nutrients are taken in high doses together, not only do they reduce your risk of Alzheimer's disease, but they only do it if they're taken together. In this article in the Archives of Neurology, taking a lower dose multivitamin or one of the two vitamin supplements taken alone, that is E alone or C alone, did not and does not have the same protective effect in preventing Alzheimer's disease. Now, some foods stimulate your own antioxidant levels. That's the ones you naturally have. And that's a key because we know your natural antioxidants protect you. So, for example, turmeric, that's found in mustard and curry. We know that stimulates your own antioxidants. So enjoy turmeric or mustard if you like it. Now back to the story. The richest source of plant phytonutrients are whole foods themselves. There are approximately 40 different xanthones found in mangosteen. Extracts of mangosteen pericarp or rind have been shown in lab tests that they can stop certain bacteria and fungi from growing. That's how these phytonutrients seem to protect the plant. The pericarp, which means the ripened inside walls of a fruit of mangosteen, has been used as a traditional medicine for the treatment of skin infections and wounds in Southeast Asia for many years. In a recent study, scientists examined the effect of a variety of xanthones found in the mangosteen fruit on human leukemia cells. These xanthones displayed cell growth inhibitory effects. That means they slowed the growth of this blood cancer. Now, we don't give studies which only show an intermediate effect in test tubes as much importance and as much weight in our decision-making processes as studies showing an outcome effect. But just remember, almost all of us think that whole fruit and the juice of whole fruit are better than the individual ingredients alone. Now I'd like to share with you something called the concept of the top of the curve. We mentioned that earlier, that I thought every one of us wanted to live at the top of his or her curve. The typical American man says that they think they reach the peak quality of life at age 28. And he thinks his quality of life and bodily functions all go downhill after that point. And he's right. Every one of our functions declines at about 5% every 10 years. What does? Your lung function, your heart function, your liver function, your kidney function, your bone mass, your muscle mass. We know that if you are a woman and ever had a bone scan, you're going to get a T-score. That's because a T-score relates your bone mass to your age. But like I said before, you and every woman get a do-over. Now, one of my favorite studies of all relates to the IQ of Harvard physicians. In the early 1950s, Harvard Medical School started studying. Actually, it wasn't the Harvard Medical School. It was the hospitals that are associated with the medical school and their malpractice trusts. They started studying the IQ of their physicians. Why did they do that? I'm told they did that because they figured that age was going to be eliminated as a criteria for retirement. And they were way ahead of the curve. So they wanted to determine if a decline in IQ could serve as a criteria for retirement. This study is still going on, I'm told. What they found is that, like everything else, whether it's your heart or lungs or liver or kidney or bone mass or muscle mass, everything else goes down about 5% every 10 years, even your IQ. Now, there are 8 components accumulated in this study to measure IQ. Things such as visual spatial sense, ability to reason, memory, and quickness in understanding numbers, and a bunch of others. And men and women decline at the same rate, and physicians declined at the same rate as the rest of the population. We lose about 5% of our IQ every 10 years. But if you look at the curves, you'll see that some people don't lose IQ points at all. By the way, men in general lose different areas of IQ than the typical woman. What does the typical woman lose first? And what do men lose first? Well, the typical woman loses visual spatial sense. That is, where did I park my car when I come out of the store? Men, they lose the ability to do complex reasoning first. Now, the typical male doc and female doc, just like you and me and everybody else, lose about 5% of IQ every 10 years on average. But the key phrase here is on average, because some of the physicians, those are the ones you want to get as your doctor, don't lose any IQ points as they age. In fact, 25% of the Harvard physicians didn't lose IQ points as they got older. What does that mean? That's a key insight. It means that you and I can live at the top of our curves. You can live at the top of your curve till very near the end. That means the ones that didn't lose IQ points weren't the ones that had better genes. It's the ones who did one or more, actually usually many, of the 148 things that have been repeatedly shown to be able to preserve the functioning of your memory and other IQ areas. Yes, there are 148 things that you or I can do to slow our rate of aging that have been shown in at least 4 studies, at least 3 of which are outcome studies in humans. That means there is hope for every one of us, for you, for me, everyone. You can live at the top of your curve till very near the end. Just as important as it is to exercise the body and give it the proper nutrients, you also need to exercise your brain. Doing crossword or Sudoku puzzles, playing Scrabble, doing tough video games, memory games. You need to keep your brain active, and in addition, by being physically active and keeping your brain active, you will improve your quality of life, your length of life, and you'll slow the decline in IQ, maybe not even have to experience one. You know, we have a Starbucks in the Cleveland Clinic, and it always surprises me how many people line up to pay $4 for a latte, which contains saturated fat that makes you older. In fact, the next time, give low-fat soy milk or just even cinnamon a try. By the way, as I pause now to sip a cup of coffee, I should tell you that caffeine is actually good for you. Caffeine, boy, that is good. Caffeine decreases your risk of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. Yes, there are 4 or 5 things that caffeine does that aren't good for you. It negatively affects sufferers of migraine. It increases abnormal heartbeats in some people. It can cause gastric upset or even anxiety. But if you don't have one of those 4, the more caffeine, the better. You, in fact, decrease your risk of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease by up to 40% each. Someplace between 25 and 40% are what the data say. But as I was saying, people line up every day in front of that Starbucks and pay $4 for a latte. Yet some won't make a choice to pay much less towards their health. And here's another eureka moment. As I stated, we've had about 22 million people take the free nutrition test on our website at realage.com. About 100,000 get the proper nutrition from diets. That's 100,000 out of 22 million. So it's possible to get everything you need from your diet, but less than 0.5%, 1 in 200 get it. That's why I believe routinely taking a supplement is really a wellness insurance policy. I advise my patients to do it. I do it. We've all heard about life insurance and health insurance. I think everyone agrees that both are important. I feel you should also choose wellness insurance. We know that most of us don't get enough minerals or vitamins from our diet. So that quality supplementation with an insurance multivitamin and mineral supplement provides that wellness insurance for your body. On our own website at the Cleveland Clinic, it confirms that even marginal nutrient deficiencies in the diet can weaken your immune system. Marginal deficiency is a state of gradual vitamin loss that can lead to a general lack of well-being and impairment of certain biochemical reactions. Now, this is something that you may not feel, but marginal deficiencies of micronutrients, nutrients required only in a small amount, do not cause obvious symptoms of disease, but they can affect your mental abilities, your coping abilities, your body's ability to resist disease and infection. Marginal nutrient deficiencies are very common in both younger and older individuals. The typical American diet is often deficient in a variety of nutrients. Yes, you and I are more likely to be deficient in calcium, magnesium, and selenium. We're very likely to be deficient in those. If we're typical in American, more than 50% of us are. Furthermore, the recommended daily value for many nutrients is, in my opinion, below what is needed to optimally protect your body, your immune system, your arteries, your brain. For this reason, that Cleveland Clinic website, and I had nothing to do with it, and our realage.com website, which I do influence, also states that appropriate vitamin and mineral supplementation are insurance to protect each of us, that's you and me, against micronutrient deficiencies. A great example comes from a colleague of mine who's a world-renowned heart surgeon. He and his family have made what I believe a smart choice to take out an insurance policy for their health, to ensure that they get the right nutrients and supplements. They chose a liquid mangosteen and aloe juice-based supplement with vitamins and plant-sourced minerals. They like the taste, and they love the fact that they even come in a single-serving bottle. Some people, mostly women I've learned, typically have problems swallowing vitamin pills, or pills may bother their stomach, or they just get tired of taking tablets. So a key word in that story was liquid. Why did I say that? What's important is, will you take it? It's not what's on the label or in the bottle that's important if you won't take it. Liquid supplements are sometimes more suitable for the many people that have developed pill fatigue and just don't like taking pills. Even a great nutritional supplement, even a great antibiotic, can't do its job if it's not taken. And for the micronutrients that are insurance supplements, that is insurance against you're not getting a perfect diet, we suggest a liquid supplement if the patient states, I won't take pills or I hate tablets. I just can't swallow them. For many women, and again, I'm not trying to be sexist or even sexy, many women prefer liquid. Your mother used to tell you to take your vitamins. She probably told you to eat all that food on your plate, too, and to eat more fruits and vegetables. But you probably didn't do that either. You know, science has confirmed your mom was right. Look on page 163 of the Owner's Manual in case you want to give your mom a book, because in You, the Owner's Manual, we tell you your mom is right. But you never heard her say, take your minerals. The Earth's essential minerals, major trace and ultratrace minerals, are substances required for the day-to-day, minute-to-minute functioning of your body. But here's the problem. The USDA and our real age statistics show the average American diet, and even the typical person using our website, is significantly lacking in the essential minerals needed for energy production and protection from free radical damage, as well as other vital functions. Your physical well-being, or in my phrasing, your real age, is substantially affected by the minerals your body gets or doesn't get. And you want to get them to make your real age younger. Now, there are over 60 minerals, and some benefits are still undiscovered. Men and women taking selenium supplements. I never even knew myself what selenium was. Imagine medical school was so bad that I never heard of selenium until the studies started coming out about 10 years ago about it protecting each of us, that's you and me, from cancer. Yes, men and women taking selenium supplements for 10 years had 41% less total cancer than those taking placebo. Epidemiologic studies, that's studies about people where you don't do an intervention, you just see what happens to them. Well, these epidemiologic studies show a consistent trend for populations residing in geographic areas that have low selenium levels in the soil to have a higher risk of cancer and a higher mortality rate from cancer. Unfortunately, I don't know what the selenium is in my soil. And even if you look on maps of the selenium in your soil, I don't know where my bread comes from. You probably don't either. Most of us don't know where our soil is low in selenium and we get it in garlic and other things, whether we're getting the selenium we need. Magnesium is another mineral that you and I need. Magnesium depletion is associated with cardiac implications, including irregular heartbeats. And chronic calcium deficiency contributes to a reduction in bone mass and the development of osteoporosis and bone fractures. Almost 40% of American women 50 years of age or older have low bone density. In the U.S. alone, there are about 1.5 million bone fractures per year due to osteoporosis or bone demineralization. Your mother may never have told you, but I'm here to tell you, take your minerals as well as your vitamins. I want to put two caveats in. First, don't do anything on the CD without checking with your physician. Well, maybe you can walk 30 minutes a day without checking with your physician, but everything else, check with your physician. And the second caveat is risk factor epidemiologic studies are only the first type of studies for these 148 factors that have been shown in at least 3 studies to change your rate of aging. But before we go, I want to mention one other vitamin, pantothenic acid, vitamin D5. Pantothenic acid, what the heck does that do? Remarkably, in high doses, it decreases LDL cholesterol, or bad cholesterol, and increases HDL cholesterol. Like niacin, it does that. Niacin also, by the way, decreases bad triglycerides. In fact, in multiple studies, niacin, and now in 2 studies, pantothenic acid, is as effective as some prescription cholesterol-reducing drugs and without the side effects. And niacin and pantothenic acid are a lot less expensive than those statin cholesterol-lowering drugs. Now, I could go on about micronutrients and minerals along with the value of phytonutrients and the value of getting them in a whole food form and diet. But like I said, 87% of us are short of vitamin D3, and between 50 and 90% of us are short of folate. which means our proofreader gene, may not be getting the nutrients it needs to do its job. And almost all of us don't get enough pantothenic acid or niacin to raise our HDL and lower our LDL. And many of us don't get enough fruits and vegetables. So I'd like to leave you with 3 final thoughts. These are my last Eureka thought moments. There are 3 things that I think everyone listening to the CD can do. 3 things that will, not can, but will, have a dramatic and positive effect on your health, that you get to do 3 things to help you with your do-over. 1, walk 30 minutes a day no matter what. Take that 30-minute walk. There are 3 components of exercise that have been shown to make your real age younger. Walking 30 minutes every day is one of those. It decreases the current rate of prostate and breast cancer, if that's what you care about, by 50%. But it also turns on a gene that makes a protein which inhibits cancer cell growth in general. So walking 30 minutes, do it every day. Remember, rainstorm, you walk 30 minutes. Hurricane, walk 30 minutes. Snowstorm, walk 30 minutes. You get the picture. Walk 30 minutes every day, no excuses, and call a friend and tell them you did it, because that way you'll make sure you do it. Some days you may not feel like walking 30 minutes, but do it every day. Consider it part of your job. After a month of walking, then add 10 minutes of resistance exercise 3 times a week. And you can do the U plan using your body as your own set of weights if you want to. You can go to realage.com. It's a free download. Find other exercises to do, but make sure you strengthen your foundation muscles. But first, walk 30 minutes every day for 30 days. Second, as we stated earlier, more than 21 million people have taken the entire Nutrition and Wellness Questionnaire on the RealAge, RealAge.com website. I invite all of you to invest 30 minutes to do it. It's free, and you'll discover what your real age is. More importantly, you'll get a plan that you can decide what things you want to do to make your real age younger and stay healthy and vital till near the end. As I mentioned, of the more than 21 million people who have taken the full questionnaire, only about 100,000 get the right amount of all the vitamins and minerals from their diet, half of 1%. So for the overwhelming majority of us, me included, and most of my patients, I strongly believe that taking a supplement daily is a critical insurance policy for an inadequate diet. Don't get me wrong. I think the best thing to do is to get 9 servings of fruits and vegetables a day and get them in a balanced way so you get all the colors of the rainbow and you get all of the phytonutrients with it. So you get what is a plum and what is a mangosteen and what is an apple all at once. But in case you don't, take a vitamin and mineral supplement as an insurance policy. As I mentioned earlier, many people tell me they've developed pill fatigue and just don't like taking pills, capsules, or tablets. So to help in making it easy on yourself, make certain you can get the proper nutrients every day. You want to choose a liquid supplement and make sure that it contains the vitamins and minerals we covered, because they can have a dramatic effect on your body's ability to resist disease and improve your immune system, and it can be done very easily and inexpensively. It could be the best health insurance you get. Remember, it's probably going to cost you a lot less than a latte a day. And third, I usually ask my patients to make one other choice for their body that they find easy, like getting an ounce of nuts or making sure they eat 3 servings of non-fried fish a week. So an ounce of nuts, whether it's 6 walnuts twice a day or 12 almonds twice a day or 20 peanuts twice a day, combinations of unroasted or roasted by yourself, unsalted nuts, 20 minutes or 30 minutes before lunch and dinner will decrease your appetite, decrease hunger surges, and get you some of the omega-3s and some great protein you need. I also encourage you to get a copy of Mehmet and my new book, You on a Diet. If you need to lose weight, this book will help. They say 50 is the new 30 or 60 is the new 40. I'm here to tell you that is true and can be true for you. You have the knowledge and the power to make your real age 27 years younger if you're a man or 29 years younger if you're a woman. The message I want you to walk away with, and yes, I want you to keep walking. The message I want you to walk away from this CD with is that you get a do-over if you want it. It's not that hard. It doesn't take that long. If you make the right choices, you can feel, look, and be 5, 10, or even 29 years younger. It is possible, and it's proven. If you just make the right choices and get started today. I've done it. Many of my patients have done it, and you can do it. Make smart choices to start today. And by the way, you've got another opportunity. After you feel younger and more energetic, teach someone else how to do it. Teach them your secrets. Thanks for listening, and I hope you decide to make your real age younger today.
Thank you, Dr. Mike. I know I'm ready to feel and look 10 years younger. Now, if you would like more information about liquid super nutrients talked about in this message, just contact the person that sent you the CD. Their contact information is on the back of the sleeve. And if you're not yet a part of the over 5 million people that have purchased the book You on a Diet, You the Owner's Manual, or You the Smart Patient, you need to do it. It will really open your eyes up to just how smart you can become about your magnificent body. They're available at any bookstore. We hope you enjoyed Dr. Roizen's important message on vibrant living. The preceding message is for educational purposes only. Please consult your doctor before engaging in any physical activity or supplementation program. The statements contained on this CD have not been evaluated by the FDA. This is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Copyright 2007, Dr. Michael Roizen.